Well, hello. Welcome to Pepper's Echo. My name's Andre, and hopefully you can hear this sound because apparently you couldn't hear that sound, which was a pity because it was really, really good. Can you hear me now? Is the question. As you could see, just cruising in the background there to tell me there's no sound. Maybe the video has a no, it's not got a copyright song. It's just actually talking behind it. So I don't know. Share screen, window. I don't know. I'll take a look. I've had such a lot of crap with this. Oh, geez, now I've pushed out something over there as well. Great. I hope you can hear me, but you can't see me. Oh, Lord. Somebody help me because I've had such a lot of trouble with this laptop because, first of all, I couldn't get it started. So then I eventually got it started. Then I got everything set up. Then I couldn't get my camera working. Geez, I wonder if I'm. Let me just try something else here quickly. Maybe I can try and go into on the phone. Would that be a better one? Would this be better? Okay. Does this one look better or sound better, or does it do anything better at all? I've tried to get the echo away there now. Uh, See if it works on the phone a little bit better. I've muted the laptop's mic. So hopefully you don't get any sound there. Oh, well, we're going to have to go with it on the phone then for now. I'm really, really sorry about this, guys. It's an absolute. It's what life is like over here. It's just nothing. Everything's so high tech, but nothing works. Nothing works. I can't get the computer working. I don't have any place to take it in. I'll try and tip this up a dash there. Can't get the computer working. Can't get the computer working. Don't have a place to take it in. Yeah. So once again, I'm like massively late. I do apologize. I'll make it a pretty short one as we go there. But yeah, I'm almost losing everything that I wanted to actually speak about in the process because Yeah, one of those days again. It all started at 3 a.m. this morning when I had to wake up for the rugby. And I woke up late for the rugby because I was sick last night. So I was throwing up and my stomach was working and everything. And I just sort of like got home late last night. So I crashed at 12 and I thought I'll take 2.5 hours sleep. Then I'll wake up, then I'll catch the rugby. Needless to say, I was quite sick in the process. And so then I ended up, you still got echoes there, Fiona. Only if I don't want to close this laptop. If I close it, hopefully it doesn't go away. See if it keeps it there. Okay, let's see. I've pulled out the mic. I've closed the laptop, so hopefully there's no more echoes. But yeah, so up at 3 this morning to just after 3, let's put it that way, because I was a little bit late for the rugby. And yeah, I got to see the nail-biting, absolutely arse-shredding yeah, I don't care. Should I say I'll take the win. But then, of course, today is another day that we have to work. So I had to go to work this morning. So after we watch the match, it's like after 5. And so you can't go to sleep again. You now got to get up and get ready to go to work. So yeah, I had to go to work as well. And we had some kind of conference thing on this afternoon, which carried on late. So we got back from work late as well. I roundabout have the personality of a pancake right now, to be honest with you guys. But anyway, apart from my personality and my work life, and yeah, the Boks won. Yeah. Can you get any better than that? Can you get any better than a 4th win for the Boks, 2 in a row? And Khaleesi is one of only 2 captains to win 2 World Cups back to back. Richie McCaw, I think, is the other one from New Zealand. But otherwise, Khaleesi is the only other captain who's actually won 2 World Cups back to back. So, yay, good stuff there. But what I was wanting to actually chat about is, I don't know, I can't see. I don't know if the chat is going or if it's not going. We'll see as we go. So if I don't answer you on the chat, my chat won't be going. But what I did want to chat about is the Bok Band-Aid. Now, it happened in 95. It happened in 2007, I think it is, or 2003, I'm not too sure. 2007, it happened in 2019, and it happened again in 2023. Somehow it's more than a game. Somehow it's actually phenomenally essential for our country to have the Springboks win the World Cup, because I do not see anywhere else that there is more of a band-aid or a plaster or a healing potion, if I can dare call it that, for the country than having the Springboks win the World Cup rugby. It's more nation building, more bringing together, more healing than what any government, any political party, than anything in our country can do, than anything in South Africa can do. It's actually sad that sport cannot be sport, and it is actually relied on so heavily, because tell you what, it's really, really relied on to bring the nation together. And yes, it actually doesn't, you know what, if only, as somebody said the last time, if only it'll last at least a decade after that. It doesn't last a decade, it lasts a while. But yes, it is at least a reset for putting the nation together again, for getting everybody into unity, into one. Sadly, it is such a necessity for South Africa. It's just not funny. Oh, geez, things are going on that side. So I must look at the. Good to go. No worries. See you. No Or is poor? Oh, away there. Let me actually. I haven't even got to greeting everybody because it's not working. So, there we go. I can actually see there now. Arse shredding. Definitely, it was arse shredding. I think that's why my stomach was upset, but just from premonition beforehand. How's it, Shauna? How are you keeping? I'm having a terrible time trying to get my PC up and everything. And the problem here is where to take it because everything's online. So what do you do? Post your laptop in online and say, please reset for me? No, you can't do that. And I don't have a flash drive. I used to have a flash drive to be able to reset my laptop with. Now I don't. So now I've got to actually take it in to have them do it there. So, yeah. So, yeah. But yeah, as I was saying, it's really sad that the Springboks carry a heavier burden, a higher burden than just actually winning the World Cup as a sport. Is actually they carry the burden of healing the nation. I don't know what you guys think, but it is the only time that our whole nation is brought together. No other person, party, government can do it currently in South Africa to do what the Springboks have done or what they do. It becomes a necessity. It would be nice for New Zealand to win. I don't want them to win. I really, really wanted the Springboks to win, and I am elated. Apart from the missus having to clean the brown marks on the couch at the moment. But yeah, I even had trouble with that. Yep, we're talking rugby. Fiona. But I even had trouble with that because then I had switched on the box, and then when I went to the box, then I to the Super Sport, and the next thing Super Sport was going, this isn't available in your area, and goodness knows what. And eventually I was on the pad, and I got to Stan, and luckily the VPN was working with Stan, and then I got it on there, and I was watching there. And like this evening, I switched on the laptop when I got home because I knew I was late. And Buzzy had the whip out there, and she said, you know what, are you streaming tonight? Are you dragging that ass of yours again? No, I'm kidding, Buzzy, but I do appreciate always looking after me there. But the thing is, I switched on, the laptop wouldn't go on, and I'm this way, and I'm restarting, and this way, and restarting. Eventually it goes on, so I create the link, as you saw, very, very late. Yeah, and then when I actually sat down to start it, there was no camera. So I'm this way, and in my absolute ludicrousy, I restart the laptop, which then gave me a hectic problem again. And as you can see, I still got a problem with the laptop. I'm not too sure if it's a laptop VPN or if it's my internet. I actually want to see if I can actually get another internet service provider in here as well, because it's pretty much shite as such. So yes, things just, it's when it works, it's good, but to get things to work is crappy. I mean, just to find things. I mean, when I go on to, even with a very impressive network, or very persuasive network, let's put it that way, use the first three letters there. When I go in on Google, eventually going in on Google, I get thousands of Chinese sites before I actually get to what I'm looking for. Not thousands, so probably about 4 or 5, but I mean, still. So, and then I'm looking for the site for my cell phone service provider, so I can find out about it there. And then it throws out to Hong Kong, and Hong Kong's apparently different to here, and it's quoting in dollars there, and I can't get it there. And when I look at the app on my phone, I have absolutely no idea what it says because it doesn't have an English option. Thank goodness my banking app does have an English option, which does help. But it's like they just don't care. You know what? We don't care. We won't give you a English option. You'll just struggle along, and you'll have everything at your fingertips, but you'll make a plan to figure it out because we're not going to do it in English for you. So that I struggle with. Taobao, I find if I work through Alipay's now put a translator on, which helps me in Taobao. My banking app is in English. My cell phone app, I have absolutely no idea what's cutting there. Absolutely. I know in the top right corner, I can see what my data is that I have left, but that's it. That is it. Nothing else. I know I've got to put money on now again, which I did, and hope that lasts for 2 or 3 months, and then I'll put money in again, and hopefully that lasts for 2 or 3 months. But the thing is, getting back to what I'm talking about the book Band-Aid. The book Band-Aid. They say in South Africa, soccer is the biggest sport in South Africa. I was looking at statistics the other day, and they say South Africa, the biggest sport in South Africa is soccer. And I can well imagine, and I do not dispute, that soccer is a well-supported big sport. But soccer is the same as a South African three-prong plug. They say, what does Bafana and a three-prong plug having South African plug have in common? They're both useless in Europe. Bafana can't play out of African boundaries, and even up in Africa, they're not that great at all. I mean, our netball team is better than our soccer team. But when it comes to rugby, we have a absolute monster to be reckoned with, and that monster reunites everybody in this country. And that win just puts an absolute plaster over a lot of hatred, a lot of resentment. People suddenly see through different boundaries. People suddenly see ways of being able to work together. Fiona says, I only tuned in to watch the haka and hooked, riveted till the end. Yeah, did you also spinch washers on that on the couch, Fiona? And I see they even lit up the Voortrekker monument. I mean, that's the amount of patriotism it goes to. They lit the Voortrekker monument up in green. It was, I mean, it doesn't matter with you black, white, green, purple, colored, pink, orange, yellow. When it comes to rugby, you're South African. When it comes to a World Cup, you're one nation. And it's sad that the weight of actually healing a nation rests on the shoulders of a rugby team as such. And you know what? Everyone says, well, you know what? The ref should have done that. And I'm sure, you know what? If we'd lost, we would have said the ref called there. It's fine. Let's call it and get over with it. You know what? You're not going to change the end whistle. You're not going to take the cup back. It is what it is. And it's a win, and we'll take it. And they did play. I mean, they battled. I mean, if there's one team that South Africa, I don't want to say fears, let's rather put it in a better term and say respects, and that is New Zealand. And if there's one team that New Zealand respects, is South Africa, because they know it's two clashes of titans. You couldn't ask for a better World Cup than these two teams. A final is having New Zealand and South Africa. That is a clash of the titans. I mean, you can have all the little bunnies running around and things to that effect, but if you want a proper World Cup final, you put South Africa and New Zealand together. Those are two titans that clash. And yeah, inevitably there's going to be questions and queries flying left, right, and center. But we took it. We played hard. They played hard. And by 1 point and 3 skid marks on the couch, we made it. Yes, Cameron, I agree. And this is my whole point. The healing only lasts a few days, and it's back to load shedding at 1600. That is the sad part. I would say the nation does have its resentments, its hatred, its barriers towards each other does get lowered for a little bit longer, but far less than what is needed. But you know, it does give the nation a reset to start from again. And then, yeah, then as you say, everything unfortunately does kind of hit back. But nothing to, I mean, that's why back in 1995, it was so important to Madiba. I mean, that guy was clever enough to see the healing effect, the unity that something like that would put together. And I think that's exactly why he placed such importance on it. And he actually pressed for it, and he got involved in it. And yeah, Fiona, we rule at rugby, of course. Is it Cameron, the pain in my heart, says Dylan. How's it, Dylan? How are you keeping? I haven't even greeted everyone. I'm afraid to move any of these things. I can see Buzzy. I can see Dylan. How's it, Dylan? I can see Fiona, Cameron, And Sean, I saw Sean as well. So how's it, guys? For those I haven't greeted, I do apologize. For those who waited, I saw Arbot earlier on as well. I don't know how many people waited and how many people just left eventually because I wasn't coming on. I do apologize once again. But yes, so it's a Bok band-aid, and you know what? How do we put so much pressure? I mean, the pressure isn't only the win; the pressure is healing a nation, and it's actually phenomenal to see that. And then you hear like Sia Khaleesi actually has a post game interview, and he is probably one of the most stand-up captains I have ever seen because he's extremely humble. Francois Pinault was a very good captain. I just never could get hold of liking him. I think he had a bit of an arrogant chip somewhere along the line on him. He was a good captain. I'm not going to deny that. But I think Sia Khaleesi has a certain form of humbleness about him. He didn't credit himself. He gave the credit to his team, yes, but he gave the credit to the country. They've given so much to the country. They actually put their bodies on the line for the country. Hendo, yeah, Hendo's MIA. I think he's recovering from the rugby as well. That was a real shocker. Yeah, I didn't see any capital letters in the chat just yet. But yeah, then again, as I say, and always wondered soccer. You know what? Our netball team is better than our soccer team. How can they say soccer? You know, soccer might be have the most supporters because I'm not going to go into details now, but they are absolutely useless. They can play amongst each other. It's like, you know what, you can play in the family, but the minute you actually go and play with the big boys, you're useless. Our netball players go and play better games outside of the country and win and get places, etc., than our soccer team. But so I don't know. And then again, our Booker, if you take a look, everybody is Booker, and behind the Booker, as I said, the whole nation is behind the Booker. And can you believe that at one stage they were wanting to take the Springbok off? They were like trying to play that Protea on, which they still have on the Springbok jersey. But that Protea could just as well be a sponsorship logo because no one actually cares for it. There's one thing that actually carries the pride of the nation on that green jersey, or the checkers colored jersey, if you want to, depending on which game they're playing, is the Springbok logo itself. Thanks, Dylan. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm just, I've been up at 3 a.m. this morning, and I've been to work today as well. So as I've repeated this morning at the beginning of the stream, apart from having a whole lot of nonsense trying to get the stream going, I now literally have the personality of a pancake. Luckily, I had to go to work, so I am shaved for you guys. But yeah. What other game? I don't see any other sports game in South Africa that actually unites. I mean, the poor buggers in the Cricket World Cup. Let's talk sports, but I'm not much of a sports guy, but we can talk a little bit of sports while we're about it. The poor buggers in the Cricket World Cup. They're playing the Cricket World Cup, and South Africa is actually doing jolly well in the Cricket World Cup. And while rugby is eliminating their opponents, so is South Africa in the Cricket World Cup. But rugby has dominated the airwaves, the media, the advertising agencies, everything. You don't see anyone buying cricket balls or cricket bats or anything like that for the Cricket World Cup. But rugby jerseys, rugby caps, Springbok flags, you get, I don't know how many different jerseys and everything to that effect. Everybody's buying rugby. It's just an absolute must for everybody to own this. It is pretty amazing, and that's why I say I don't see any other sport. And the ironic part is soccer is supposed to be the biggest sport in South Africa, and I have not seen one single inch of unity created by soccer. I don't think even in the Soccer World Cup. The Soccer World Cup, we enjoyed the atmosphere, we enjoyed the international teams, but I don't think anyone went in there thinking Bafana was going to actually do anything than just sort of make a blotch. And I mean, we all expected it, so it wasn't even heart wrenching when they were out. It's like, okay, now let's start, let's watch the soccer. Fiona says a 4-year band-aid must sustain a lot of pressure. You know what? Unfortunately, it's not a 4-year band-aid, and that's why I agreed with what Cameron said. It doesn't last long enough. You know, something like this needs to be consistent, and unfortunately, every 4 years doesn't do it. It does give us a good reset, though, and does have them forget the animosity between each other, and for a very, very short while in time, our country is whole, and our country is together, and our country is working together again, and our country has the same goal. But unfortunately, it does wear off, because what you need is consistency, and something that our country doesn't do very well is maintenance. So you have to maintain it. I've sent Henda a reminder. Our clocks have gone back 1 hour last night. Oh my goodness me! You've gone back 1 hour last night. I remember when I used to play, when I could actually get onto playing my games, because over here, that's something else that you can't do. You can't play a flippin' game to save your life. The world's top sailor is Kirsten from East London, who's won the Golden Globe this year. We don't even know that. We don't even know that. And I literally watch the news these days fairly frequently. I didn't even know that. The world's top sailor is from East London. South Africa carries quite a top. We could capitalize on some of these kind of sporting events as well. As I said, unfortunately, the World Cup was held at the worst time ever. Not the Rugby World Cup, the Cricket World Cup. Even cricket, the World Cricket Association or whatever, should have, in all their wisdom, have figured out that, you know what, when you get to actually having to pick between rugby and cricket, it's a no-brainer. We are going to be watching rugby. So the Cricket World Cup has become a very dumbed down thing. And as Sean's pointed out there, the world's top sailor is Kirsten from East London, who's won the Golden Globe this year. I didn't even know there were sailors from East London. Never mind the top sailor from East London. East London, to me, is just a little town close to PE that has more potholes than PE or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, so sport has an amazing ability to unite people. Sorry. It really does. I mean, if you look at sporting events and things to that effect, I mean, even if we do look at the 2010 World Cup soccer, everybody just actually had a good time together. I mean, as I said, honestly, we cared less if Bafana actually played or didn't play, because that we knew they were out anyway. But we had quite a bit of unity watching it and playing it. But if you take a look at rugby in South Africa, rugby in the Southern Hemisphere is, I mean, we have a big breed of guys. That's why New Zealand plays such strong rugby as well. They also have a big breed of guys. What Fiona say is cricket used to be a band-aid, but the Panekere with match fixing out a sour note on the game, it put me off that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't watch cricket. I really don't have the patience of where somebody would go and rub this little red ball against his ball for a while until both are shining, and then run a little way back, and then wind up and get himself worked up, and then start charging like a mad bull towards a red flag, veins thumping out of the side of his head, lunging forward. He hurls at thousands of kilometers per hour at a dude standing with a bat in front of him, and the guy looks at him and goes, and it goes to start all over again. I just, no. No, no, I don't have that patience. What's Nick say? He saw the post-match interview with Jacques and Sia. The Bok team is a build of brotherhood. Yes, it's just, their nature at the moment is what's Sean say? It's Kirsten New Schaffer. Is he South African, Sean? Strange surname. Not strange surname, but not a common surname, if I can put it that way. But it's great to know that we've got a couple of other people. But yeah, Sia and them, I just saw Sia's one, but I was like really having to start getting ready for work around about that time again. So I watched that and I just thought it was really, you know what, he's so humble, and even those words were consolidating for a nation. The rugby team has far more responsibility than winning a rugby match. The rugby team has an absolute nation building responsibility on their shoulders. You become a Springbok rugby player, and your job is not to win games. Your job is to reconcile the country, straight out. There is just no two ways about it. Can it last longer? It would be nice if we could have it last longer. It would really, really be nice. Does it last longer? No, because you need maintenance on these things. You need to be able to carry it through. And unfortunately, it doesn't take long for our government to pull the scab off the healing sore. And that's a problem to me. That is the only problem. But what the country has got, again, is that much needed reset of a team of, 20-something guys. I want to count the guys in the benches and the extras and et cetera, as well. And they basically put their bodies on the line for the country. Not like cricket, tapping a wooden bat against a ball that's thrown at you. Clay lot. No, I'm kidding. No, I've never been a cricket watcher. Maybe I can watch a couple of limited overs things, but even then I'm sort of like bored eventually. And as far as the 5-day matches or something, I'd rather watch a snail race or something like that effect. It's a little bit more fascinating. But I'm just saying, for those who are cricket fans, etc., the World Cup would have been much better if they'd postponed it to sometime, even if they had it this year a little bit earlier, a little bit later. But if they didn't put it throughout the Rugby World Cup, because that was an absolute overshadow. She, Sean, it's a she. I thought it was a he. Should have known by the name of Kirsten. Born and bred in South Africa. It's just New Schaffer. I don't know. It's almost sound German, is it? Obviously, German descent. I mean, if you take a look, my surname would be French and things to that effect. But you do find more of us lying around the country as we go. But yeah. So yes, and my question then again is, if rugby builds up such a, why am I shaking? Withdrawal symptoms from no sleep. But if rugby builds up such a nation healer, why can soccer not do that? Why are we not getting right with the biggest sport in South Africa? I'm not talking about the most popular, although apparently soccer is the most popular because the most people watch soccer and the most people support soccer. But it is not as prominently powerful as rugby. I mean, I'm sorry, rugby is dominant in South Africa. And we once again see that when we get to the World Cup. But if soccer is such a top sport or predominant sport, not predominant, I would say a big sport or well-supported sport in South Africa, why is it not doing anything for our nation? Soccer has, you know what, even people who enjoy soccer, for those of you in the UK, Fiona, football, yeah. But yeah. Why is that not bringing people together? Why is that not healing a nation? Why? I don't know. Soccer seems to be very one-sided. It just does. It seems to be a very one-sided affair. It doesn't bring people together. Um, and that's in South Africa. I know a lot of people who watch European soccer in South Africa, and they watch British and European and that type of stuff. But yeah, no. Why does soccer not do it? Why can people not get behind soccer? Why can soccer not? Would soccer be a higher level game? Because it's not for lack of coaches, but would soccer in South Africa be a higher level game if they started making it for the people and not for the, dare I go in that general direction, not for the demographic? What Sean say, he met her in Cape Verde in 2011. She was handing from Portugal to SA. She has also cycled alone from Europe to Cape Town when she was 20. Jeez. We don't know that at all. Sounds like a remarkable person. We don't even know that. We know about the swimmers. Our swimmers seem to make good names for themselves. Once again, not very nation building, but they make names for themselves. But I'm looking at team sports, and I'm looking at big sports, and I'm looking at well supported sports. And all I'm saying is rugby, which politics is trying to dig at heavily and is always trying to sink their nails and their teeth into there. And I think the guys at the top in South African rugby, old Rossi and the guys, have their hands full with having to bat off the government to try and maintain probably one of the most precious commodities in South Africa, which is the Springbok team. As I said, they were even trying to pull the Springbok logo, and now it's sort of like just they had it very small, and now it's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. I think they've just like realized that. What do you think upset my tummy so badly? I think the thought that the Springboks might lose. I have no clue. We went out last night and we went to a place called Wade's Bar, and we had a very, very nice brisket there, smoked Texan brisket. And I don't think it was a brisket, but I do know we went to Costco the afternoon and we had some like pie thing with a greasy side. I think maybe that, but I don't know. I'm also running a pretty high stress level still. I am starting to get to grips with things, and yeah, it's I don't know why. I was pretty nauseous and what's the name? So, and then I was late for the game and working today, so everything's backwards. So tomorrow's Tuesday, but it's Monday, and I don't know, you guys. I wonder if Uncle Cyril's going to give you that public holiday he promised, or was he hoping that the All Blacks would win? But yeah, once again, going back to what I'm saying, soccer. What do you guys think soccer can do, South African soccer can do, to actually have the same effect as South African rugby? Because South African soccer is supposed to be the biggest sport in South Africa. The most popular sport in South Africa is supposed to be soccer. Why, if it's the most popular sport in South Africa, does it have such low rankings in uniting a nation, of having a nation behind them, of having full support? Yeah, football, soccer is the most popular sport in the UK, and that does to a certain extent bring people together. I know rugby is pretty big as well, but I think your soccer is bigger in the UK as well. But it's well supported throughout, and the guys are good. And I'm just wondering, if we actually opened soccer in South Africa to the country, uh, and we actually started implementing it throughout schools and drafting, uh, would we possibly have a higher standard of soccer? Or is it just African soccer that just doesn't gel in the rest of the world? I mean, would it be that it doesn't matter who we put in soccer and what we did with that soccer? It would be African soccer that does never match up to, that will never match up to European soccer as such. And in return, it's never going to put a nation behind it, and it's never going to heal a nation, because the book band-aid is a very heavy burden to carry by one uh, by one sports team. I wonder what's going to happen going forward. I don't know if is Rossi still staying on. I think Nidaba is going to Leicester or something like that. So I think there'll be a new coach. So I don't know who's going to come in there again. I must say, Ninamba did okay. He has not been my favorite coach, but I would choose him above Stroily any day. That big-eared bat in his Kamstaldraad thing was an absolute washout. It's the only time we never even made the semi-finals in the World Cup was when that banana tried to run a rugby team. Yeah, no, but I'm not worried about stress. So, as I say, I'm still working on what we spoke about last week. Is not resenting things, not wanting to know why I don't have when I have. It's bad to complain with a full mouth, and actually to look at everything that I do have, and then I'm actually pretty much a little bit calmer about things as well. So yeah, but that once again falls as a conversation for another spot. My mum, the last time I spoke to her was it Wednesday or Thursday? And I got to phone her tonight again. I sort of dread having to phone because, like last time, it sounded okay and everything was like fairly okay. And I sort of like so afraid to always phone and see if anything's going to be worse or if it's better, or if you know the saying of no news is good news. So you prefer to keep quiet, but obviously you need to stay in contact. So far so good. And I'm really hoping and praying that it will get better from there. She's still terribly struggling with shingles. That shingles has never gone away. It's probably the most painful thing that she's struggling with at the moment. Nick says, I think Soccer SA needs development. The box team has been together since they were youngsters. Yes, this is what I'm saying. Have they gone into all the schools and actually started like a soccer program the way rugby is played in schools? Or have they just taken people who've played a fair game of soccer in school and now you can play soccer for South Africa? You know what, are we drafting throughout, or are we keeping it just on the sideline like that, and then we end up, and as I said, is it African soccer? Is it just what it is? It's African soccer, and it's never going to match European standards. I mean, we couldn't match European club teams as a national team. I mean, I'm not expecting. Athletics doesn't really get you behind each other. I mean, only time there was really a big thing with one person in the Olympics was when Zola Budd went to run for the UK, and then she went to Los Angeles for the Olympics there, and then she tripped up Mary Decker. And everyone was very, very sorry for her, and there was a whole lot, but it was very, very special because it was the first time I think that we're having somebody in. Endo, my favorite South African European. Is he still recovering from the rugby? We're busy talking about rugby and how it heals a nation. And how come, if we have such a huge support for soccer in South Africa, and soccer is supposed to be such a great one of the biggest games or the biggest sport in South Africa, why does that not have the healing power that the rugby has? And the matter of the fact that rugby winning the World Cup is such a healing reset for the country, just to try and bring you up to speed, Endo. Did the time change get you? Oh, did the time change get you? It's talking to Endo. Yeah, so I'm looking at those things. I don't know what your thoughts are. What's it? Bawanabe football, yeah. But yeah, I'm very, very happy for the guys in the green and gold. I by no means think that we didn't. I think we do deserve it. And as I said, probably needed more than any other country in this world needs it right now. Would be our country that needed that one. And yeah, would soccer be able to have the same effect? Because that is just as big. Would they be able to start getting that kind of support, getting a national support? Because yes, they have a huge following, but I do not believe they have a national unity behind soccer in our country. Yeah, Ramaphosa was trying to get on the action last night in the rugby. Look, anything that will give him, because he doesn't need money, he needs power and publicity. That's what he needs. He just got home. Yes, like, where did you travel to France for the final, Henda? Sadly, our whole government's embarrassment, unfortunately, Fiona. It really is. I was actually chatting to a chap last night, an Irish guy, very, very nice chap, and we started having a couple of, towards the end of the night, sadly, so I said to him, we'll actually get together and have longer chats and that. And I said to him, you know what, we could possibly have a better government, but if you take a look at the age of our government, and now I'm going off my topic of sports and healing and building, but just a quick one. If you take a look at our age, these guys are all, I mean, everyone says, well, you know what, the apartheid era was an absolute terrible era. Well, these guys all come from the apartheid era, and they have got that mentality, and that's a destructive mentality, and they've carried that on throughout our country, and that's all we have. We've got a destructive old age home for a government. So now the clowns running SA Soccer can't even run a Spaza corner shop like the NC government. Yes, guys, nerves coming back, conduction test. Yeah, guys, if you just take some time, throw some hearts and flowers into the comments there for Buzzy. She's going for a pretty big test tomorrow, which is quite nerve-wracking for her, especially with the situations, the towns, and actually going for the tests and putting things through. It's really, really essential. And Buzz, we're all praying and definitely thinking of you and keeping you in our thoughts and prayers there. Is it? I end 90 Yeah, so going back, we can't expect, look, netball does a good job. It does a better job than what rugby, what soccer does. But they don't do any nation building. Hockey, I don't know if we've got a hockey team or not. Apparently we do. But we don't do any nation building. As Sean pointed out, the best sailor in the world is a lady from East London. Wow, we didn't even know that. But I do believe if the sport is that big as soccer is, that we can. And I think it was nailed. Who nailed it a little bit earlier on? I don't want to give the wrong name now. It was Nick. Nick said, let me move it back up again. Nick was saying, yeah, we need development in soccer, and they need to develop it from grassroots, and they need to develop it fairly, and they're going to need to start putting a little bit more backing in there. I think they're just getting keep me happy money. I mean, golfing is probably bigger in not bigger in South Africa, but carries a more international level than what soccer does, and for something that's really big. And it's not for lack of coaches. I mean, we get overseas coaches, they get tickets and everything to that effect. But I think they have this limitation to work with. one thing that rugby's always had to fight against was the quotas that the governments always wanted to put in. And they've had to hold them back and say, wait, let's get the right guys, let's get the right guys. And slowly but surely, the right guys are coming in. They're coming in, they're coming in. And yeah, we have a very diverse rugby team, but we have the correct diverse rugby team. And that's what rugby was saying. It said, look, guys, we can't just throw them in, but let's get the right people in. And now you've got the right people, and now it's become diverse, and that's made us even more powerful than what we were. I mean, definitely our rugby, even as good as what we were, has evolved to a very, very professional technical game compared to what South Africa used to play. And I mean, then we were a contender. Now we are still a contender because we've evolved. Our soccer has not evolved. It just hasn't evolved. And it's sad because it can. So how can you build your nation together? Basically, I suppose by supporting your team and actually shaking the guy's hand next to you and saying, well, let's face the future together. Let's take a look at matching our goals together. It's a hard and a bitter pill to swallow when nothing's working for you. I know I was looking at the news the other night, and I'm not too sure, it was in Gauteng somewhere. These people have got raw sewage flowing across the road. And even the SABC presenter was saying, look at this guy in his smart car driving through the raw sewage to come to talk to us, and why don't you do anything? Which once again drove me a little bit irritatedly back to the fact that the one guy was saying, well, you know what, we'll have street name changes, and we will change the street names, and when it gets on his desk, he'll make a priority of it happening immediately, and there's like 4,000 to 250,000 each. And I'm thinking, these people got shit flying all over their road, and all you can think of is the priority of changing a street name. Just goes to show our government does have the wrong priorities. And then once again, it's left to our sporting teams to mend the broken people in our country. And this is something that our government should be doing. So how can you mend the country? I don't know. That would most definitely be up to you. But I would definitely say it's not going to happen with you starting to work towards world peace. It will definitely only happen for you once you start looking at the smaller things. Sometimes greeting someone, accepting the fact that when you greet, somebody's not going to greet you back, but that shouldn't be the reason that you don't greet somebody in the long run. You should continue doing that to be able to make it possible for people to learn to greet you back. If there's one thing I've learned is that the world has lost their manners. I was listening to very long time ago, because I was still in Cambodia, Radio Jacaranda, and the morning show was talking about is it rude to eat with your cap on and to walk into a restaurant and leave your cap on while you're eating? And the one presenter said, yeah, no, I leave my cap on and everything like that. It's times have evolved. It's not the old days anymore. And people are saying, you know what, it's only manners, and it doesn't matter. Time has not evolved. So you know, time hasn't evolved to eliminate manners. And it sometimes makes me wonder, if time evolves to actually keep a cap on in a restaurant while you're eating, how much has it evolved to be able to stop saying please and thank you, have a nice day, and just greeting a person with a smile? Has it evolved to that effect that we have actually left manners totally out the door because they are now non-essential and basically more of a privilege than a requirement? Or what? What is your partake on it? What I've learned a lot this week is the more I have been grateful for things and the more I've tried to see the good in things, the better things have been for me. The more I have, let me get up there. The more I have noted as I said, I've just, like, one of the biggest things this week obviously was the World Cup, and I've just noted at what a plaster it was. what a reset it is for this country. Unfortunately, it doesn't last that long. Why can't our other big sporting events or other big sporting teams, like AKA our soccer team, Bafana Bafana, do something similar and such? The possibility is definitely there, but it needs to be put in motion, most definitely. And they need to accept. I mean, I think that every single rugby player accepts the responsibility of it as such. So yeah. Nick says what is worrying me most of the box is that played the final played for overseas teams. Yeah, yeah. Most of them have come from overseas teams because there's a lot of controversy. That's why I said once again, it's a lot of controversy in South Africa, so they don't really want to be here. We've got good players. We need to keep them. Same with soccer. We've got good players, and if we start developing from school level, we can have the teams that we need to team. I mean, like New Zealand. New Zealand's got powerful players, but their players, or many of them, are home. Yeah, sure, there's a couple of overseas players, but they've taken away, what was it, Tonga players, Fiji players. What was the other one? I can't remember now. But they don't bring them in from there anymore. So yeah, our players unfortunately are not at club level. Although with the UFC, you'll see, I think the Stormers have smashed a good smash in at the moment. So yeah, we're getting there. It's at least a step in a direction, but it is worrying. And as I said, even our coach is, I think, on his way overseas as well. So yeah. Thanks for bringing that up, Endo. Yes, I meant to actually mention it. The hour is up. Matthew Perry, late Luke Perry, passed away. Yeah, he was the chap in Friends. It's very, very sad too. He was only 54, and he passed away. Samoa, thanks, Nick. Yes, Samoa. That's the one I wanted to say. That they used to draw a lot of people on. Guys, but from my side, thank you very, very much. Wonderful that everyone was so behind the heart attack. Oh, was it in his heart and pool? Yeah, 54. But thank you very, very much that everyone was so well behind or stuck behind the All Blacks. I hope you enjoyed the healing time, the reset, and the put together. Yes, it may not last forever, but at least cherish the days and the moments that it is. Look at the good, and let's see what the good is right now. Hopefully you get that public holiday that you deserved, so much deserve. And yeah, take care of yourself, be good. And if you can't be good, at least be kind. Take care, guys. Cheers, cheers.